For 7 decades, our story has been told by everyone but us. It's time we tell our story.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. My name is Dr. Mary Ashun. I'm the CEO of Ghana International School. Today, we are here to talk about the arts at GIS, and it has a long-standing tradition. And I have here with me in the studio a couple of people who can speak to this. We're especially going to drill down from talking about the arts as a whole experience for our students and drilling down to talk about the musical. The musical is coming up in March of this year, and we hold it biennially. And so I have these amazing people with me in the studio. I've got Mrs. Juliette Vanderpuye, Mrs. Theophilia Labi Glover, Mrs. Theophilia Glover, and Mr. Pius Asabil here with me. Pius and Theophilia are in the music department, and Juliette is in the literature department. Now, these are just, three of the people who together bring the arts to life at GIS. So they're just representative of the crew that is behind all the amazing stuff that we see year in and year out. Now, I do have to say that, apart from the musical, we have other programs that we hold at the school because we value the arts. We realize that the arts can feed the soul. I don't know about you, but every morning I wake up, I play music. I get into the car and the music moves from my phone straight into the car, audio. Music just frames a lot for me, right? I read a lot. I watch plays. I love the arts, and we will all attest to the fact that the arts are an amazing part of our lives. So it is important that we make sure that children also have that experience of the arts. Now, I joined GIS almost 12 years ago, and I landed into a world that already had the musical, right? So I need to ask those who were there before me, how it started, what their memories were, and all of that, and then bring my little bit to bear on what we have done. And so the entire podcast is going to be us talking about the history of the musicals. We'll mention some names of people who are critical to bring it to where it is today. We'll talk about some of our students who have done amazing work as well. Those of them that have gone really into the stage, into the stagecraft. But those who have also used their arts to do other things that may be arty, but maybe they're scientists as well. And I think that distinction is incredibly important. We shouldn't say these people are sciencey people and these people are arty people. Scientists can be artists as well. I'm living proof, of that as well. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then we have done a lot of collaborations over the years. We've had collaborations with other schools where we bring students in to be part of our shows. We'll talk about that as well. I wonder if we actually have time for all the things we want to talk about. And then we will bring one very, very key collaborator on to share with us her experience of working with GIS. Now, those of us at GIS, we get paid for this, right? Okay. But here's someone we're going to be talking to who does not work at GIS. She's not a GIS employee, but has chosen year in and year out to join us. So would like to hear her experience. And then we're going to end by talking about this year. This year is amazing. It is totally fabulous. It is the 70th anniversary. And so for the 70th anniversary, we thought we would do something different. So we're going to talk about that 70th anniversary and bring a special guest on. So stay tuned. I'm going to start asking the team first, right, about the start of the musicals, right? And so that any one of you can jump in. Juliette, do you want to start?
I think Mr. Asabil.
Mr. Asabil, yes.
I came in at a time that GIS had already performed 2 musicals.
Mm-hmm.
But from the historical background, it was an idea hatched by Mrs. Natapeku, the principal then, and then Mrs. Gloria Paida, the vice principal, lower secondary. It used to be a lower secondary kind of program.
Okay.
So 2 had passed, that Annie and then Music One.
Okay,
So,
and I need to qualify right now. Lower secondary is about ages 11 through to 14.
14.
Okay.
We bring in those from the upper secondary up to 18 when we need stage hands.
Okay.
They are
More like crew.
they are grown up, so we bring them in to help us move things on stage and off stage. So when I came in, my appointment was tied into the fact that apart from me coming in to teach as a music teacher, there is this musical bit that I have to as well carry along with it. So I was told by my principal then that I don't have to come in and not be able to carry on with the musical. So she used a phrase, no apologies. No apologies in anything that you would do. All that she needs is something that befits GIS. And so that is how it all started. And I picked it up from the third, which is my first in GIS.
The musical. So we'll get to the list of the musicals there. But I just want to highlight the importance of leadership here, right? A lot of times some ideas will be generated from even the student body, teaching body, right? It's wonderful when it generates from a leader's vision, right? And then that leader not only throws it out to you and says, go on and go do this, but says, I will support you, right? Do you need money? It's there. Do you need food? It's there. What would you need? I'll do it for you. So I can imagine how that felt.
At one point, Mrs. Natapego had wanted us to do it every other year. But we happened to stage one of the musicals and staff from the American Embassy came. So that year, she wants to travel to America. And she got there and she was asked whether she's going to do the musical again the following year. So she came back and said, people, we can't stop. We have to continue. This is the question.
But they did give her the visa, right?
Yes, they gave her the
Yes,
visa.
of course.
They gave her the visa. And so, let's not forget, the two musical was staged by my predecessor, Mrs. O'Brien Lindsay, and
Theophilia. Yeah, so Theophilia, tell us about that very first one. Very first one where it was all rickety and...
Yes. So when we started, I think we had no idea how we're going to make this happen. I was acting as a stage manager then. So scheduling, rehearsals, props. We had to go to the open market, Makola, get things from, the time immemorial. Make sure that we are paying respect to the times that the musicals were made. So it started off and we had to do a lot of learning on the job because this was new. Getting the kids in to start with. The kids were already excited, that we're going to be starring in some musical, they'll be singing and dancing. That alone was exciting for them. So it made our job much easier.
And we need to put this in perspective. That first musical was in 2008.
Yes.
That's 18 years ago.
Yeah.
And Juliette, in 18 years, how many have we staged as a school?
We have staged about 14 musicals.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And you were you there right from the very first one? You said it was Annie, right?
Annie was the first.
Okay.
Yes. So I came in because when I started having children, one thing I really wanted them to do was to learn how to play a musical instrument and to be able to express themselves. So when we had the first musical, one of my children auditioned and he had such a great, baritone voice. And so they put him in there. And then for one of his assignments, they told him, okay, so you have to learn how to perform this. And so he came home and he said, Mommy, I don't know how I'm going to perform. I said, come along. And so I walked him through how to act, how to sing, and all of that. And he went back the next day and it just blew the mind of I think it was Lindsay then. Lindsay. It just blew her mind. And she says, you are going to be part of this musical. So that is how I was drawn in. And I've always loved music. I've always loved acting. I mean, I don't really act, but I've always loved to watch, plays and all of that. And so I found myself inching into the musicals. And eventually, I remember Mrs. Yatipuku called me one day and she says, Juliette, you're always in here. You better join them. And so I came in as a literature teacher, really. But I found myself also helping with the musical, and that's how it came.
And at GIS, we don't actually have a dedicated drama department,
No.
but all the drama is taught through your department,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes.
Okay, in collaboration with some of the other departments.
Yes. So it brings to mind Mr. Giacomani.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us.
Yes.
Hi, Mr. Giacomani.
Yes, because he's gonna be watching this.
Yes.
He's better be watching this.
So he I think learned how to teach drama and all of that
Yeah,
at his
He
university.
came in at a time that, in fact, we used to have a drama director from University of Ghana, Lagos,
Okay.
Mary.
That was
And-
Sheila something.
Mary.
Mary.
Mary, yes. And along the line, Mrs. Alotti came in as another director.
Okay, so she was a parent.
Yes,
She
was
was
a
a
parent.
parent.
So 2014, we decided that no, this time around, we are not bringing anybody from University of Ghana, no parent. We're going to make it solely homegrown GI.
Mhm.
That is how come Giacomani was roped in.
In
Whether he like it or not, he's going to be our drama director.
Mhm.
And that year was the
He did
year
a great
we
job.
performed the musical
Which one was it?
Aida.
Aida.
That's a difficult one.
Yes, very difficult.
Aida was a
And
difficult one,
the
but
way
beautiful.
the whole thing was on stage. People were like, are we watching the film? I said, no.
Yeah.
But it's something that we sat down, worked
Really
on it.
grand.
And that year, I remember one of the students, the way they gave dance choreographer tough time. And she also took her time and make sure that every scene that we have dance choreography comes out perfect. And everything worked out.
I hear so much of us moving from one phase of, if I can call it a project, to another. You know, you start off with some people, they drop off by the wayside
Yeah.
through no fault of their own. It's not a negative thing. Some other people join, and then mindsets start changing about what we can do ourselves. And I think just even in what you have recounted, there's that process of growth. Right? You start very small, it's a lower secondary thing. And right now, when I think about the lower secondary kids, I'm thinking you guys must have just died 1,000 times. Like, getting these kids to just sit down, you know, to do something. And now it includes the primary school children, includes upper secondary. We've had some teachers in there. The infant kids have been part of it. We've had a president come and watch us. You know, what a beautiful story, you know, of growth.
I remember when we picked Joseph and an amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. We were thinking of how we're going to get the kids at that age. So we hold a whole class 5 students, all of them.
Yeah.
And on stage, when you see them on stage with their different colors,
Yeah.
it's so amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's work, but the outcome was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And just to go back to what you said about nurturing talent, I think you mentioned something like that. Sometimes when the students come in, they don't even know what they have.
Yes.
I remember one student just walked in, and another student, I don't know what happened. That student was having a bad day and decided, you know, I'm not going to perform again. And then we called this other student who had just walked in, and we said, can you try this role? You would be amazed at how
That was Joel.
Joel, how he performed. And so we just decided, okay,
Yeah.
so you take up that role. And the other student, we didn't see that child again.
And so that during audition, I remember Christine Quest. Christine Quest was coming in with a friend who is coming to audition.
So she
Yes.
wasn't.
She
planning
wasn't
on-
part of
wasn't
the
planning.
business at all.
And she was in Prince of Egypt.
Yes, it was.
Right.
She's been in.
Miriam.
She was in
I think
Prince
she
of
was Miriam.
Egypt. She was in Aida. She
Yes.
was in Height.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she staged 3 of
Three.
musicals.
Yeah.
She came in and she spoke. I said, can you sing for me? Say, I've never sung before. Okay, you for
So there you
once.
will sing.
You sing for me. She started singing and it was
Got
everyone was
goosebumps.
quiet.
Yeah.
And you said you can't sing.
Yeah.
You are on the musical.
Yeah.
Yes or no? And said yes.
And
So
she
we
was
have, and she was committed.
She just came along
Yeah.
just to support a friend.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I really want to talk about the parent view, and you've sort of led me down that path by talking. You talked about your son But you talked about the fact that children don't even know what they have. I'd like to posit that parents don't know what their children have. Because I have had many parents at the end of the musical, right there in the National Theatre, tell me, I didn't know my child could do this.
Yes.
And to me, that's the importance of partnering with a school. A good school, might I add. Right? That's the power of partnering with a good school, because a good school will not only hire good teachers, but will nurture those teachers well enough so that those teachers then look for good things in their kids. And for me, my personal, both children of mine have been in the school musicals. And for my son, Kwam, he was always a natural. His whole life is an act, right? And so we weren't surprised at all that he said, I'm going to audition for it. But I can distinctly remember Jojo. And none of us ever thought, we just thought Jojo's a writer and he can do all sorts of other crazy stuff. But singing,
On stage?
only for me to hear from you guys afterwards, you said, Jojo is an amazing singer. And I remember thinking, come on, guys, I'm not going to pay you extra for this, but that boost, and even to a parent to see that sometimes we box children in. We think this is my child who can do this, and this child can do that, and that child can do that. But so if one child can also do what the other child does, you've effectively just shut them down. So opportunities like this where people like you are able to zoom in, zone in, and say, this child can also do this. And look at what Jojo did for the musicals.
Exactly. Exactly.
So thank you on behalf of every child, every parent, for what you do.
I want to just chip this in. Last year when we were doing Sound of Music 2, we had our main character already. But there was this one child who I was teaching in Form 5 then, who was a great writer. I don't know whether I can mention their names, but Joshua, And so I told him, Joshua, can you sing? And he says, yes, I can sing. And I said, would you want to be part of the musical? Now, Joshua is a science student. And I remember he was, having challenges in the classroom with his work and all of that. And so he said, he came once or twice. And he says, no, I can't do this. It's taking so much from me, and my academics are suffering. Then I said, okay, let me speak to mommy. So I took mommy's number, I called her, and I told her, she says, Mrs. Vanderpuye, if you can assure me that his grades are not going to drop, and you will teach him how to balance it, I'll let him go. So first 2 weeks, first month, grades were not coming up and all of that. And eventually, Joshua just turned into a different person. And now you see Joshua on stage, and his parents couldn't believe it when they saw him. And the long and short of it is that he eventually got a school that really acknowledged his artistic.
And he's not even doing anything arty right now. From what I remember, because he was a science student, I think he's doing computer science or something.
He's doing dentistry.
Dentistry, okay. And the school gave him a $7,000 scholarship.
Yes.
Not to come in and study the arts or do drama, but just amazing work, young man.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's $7,000 scholarship. So this is something parents need to hear, right? When we pull children out of things that don't seem academic, like sports, right? Like drama, all of these things, right? We're hurting them because it could be an opportunity for them to gain something further down the line. I want to talk, before we bring in some other people, just about the different kinds of plays that we've done, the musicals. And we have to make a distinction between plays and musicals because most schools, I'm sure, will do plays, right? And musicals are the next step up, where you then add some music to it and try to elicit emotions that maybe just the drama will not bring out, right? And so we've done Annie, Les Miserables, Aida, Music Man, Prince of Egypt, Joseph and the Technicolor Coat, Fame in the Heights, Merchant of Venice, Death and the King's Horseman. it just runs the gamut.
Yeah.
Right? We
Yeah.
can't even say, I mean, there's Disney there,
Yes.
there's Deep Disney, right?
Everything.
And then we've done
Serafina.
Serafina as well. We've done Sound of Music twice. Right? Is there another one we've done twice?
No, it was in Sarafina that we started collaborating with other schools.
Okay.
During Sarafina, we decided to bring in La Cluster of School from the wireless.
Yes.
But the very first day they entered the school, you could see that these people don't want to associate with GIS students. Of course, that's their first day. So they see GIS,
Seem
they
shy.
don't want to get closer. But after 1 month down the line, you can't tell who is coming from
couldn't
the
tell the
wireless
difference.
and who is.
I tell you, that
just-
day on stage, it was only the girls that you could tell a difference because our girls keep their hair long. It was
Yes.
only the girls. With the boys, you couldn't tell a difference at all. And after the play, Jojo was in that play. So after
Yes,
the play,
yes.
I think the week after, he
Silence.
said, "Oh, Mom, I'm going to the mall." And I said, "Oh, who with?" He goes, "With our friends," or he said something to that effect, "our friends." And I said, "Oh, who are those friends?" He goes, "The La Wireless children who came to act with us." And I said, "Oh," and then he said to me, "Why are you surprised?" Why are you surprised? They had become such good friends that they were meeting their La Wireless counterparts at the Accra Mall to chill. You know, and this is what we
And up
want
to
more
now,
than
they still,
anything.
some of them still hold
So,
up to the friendship that
yes,
the bond
that they
that
had.
yeah.
Yeah. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. And so, have you thought that the process to choose a musical has been a difficult one? Have you ever regretted? I don't know whether you can say this on air, but you know, because sometimes, I mean, I've been part of this for fewer years than you guys have been, and I know the process we go through. You know, so what would you say has been the process?
I would say Les Miserables was a tough one. It was a tough one
Very heavy.
because it was heavy on cast,
Yeah.
you know, and we needed to have more rehearsals over and over again. In fact, even the day that we went on stage, we really didn't know what to expect. It was that tough. But I remember that scene, and I was just telling the music teachers that I remember that scene where
We have the barricade.
the barricade turned. I mean, when it turned, the response from the audience was just
And then you
mind
felt-
blowing,
you
and
felt
we
like,
felt, yes, we got it.
Yeah.
We got it. Because that one, I really didn't know how it was going to.
Les Miserables is one musical that you hardly hear someone speaking.
Yes.
It's all singing through.
Not
Yeah,
just
yeah.
there.
And you need to sing to drive home
That's
the
the
theme,
point,
whatever
yeah.
you are trying to.
Yes.
And so it became like a different musical altogether to our
It was
audience.
just music.
Yes, all music. But they were able to sing through to make sure that every scene is understood by the audience.
And you see, musicals like Les Miserables, right? The children wouldn't have necessarily seen it. I feel that, you know, part of the struggle or the challenge is sort of removed when the children have seen it before. So Sound of Music,
Yes.
they've watched it, you know, in the movies or whatever. Fame, you know, a couple of those ones, they sort of know. Serafina, I know many of them then went,
Watched
you know,
And
and
then-
watched it, and it had themes of freedom and revolution, which kids always love. And then we do musicals where the kids have no clue, like Les Miserables, right?
Yeah.
And the few times I've come behind, you know, the curtain and seen you guys, Theophilia, you're like running around mad, you know, because it's almost as if the import of what you're doing has not been understood by the kids.
Yes.
And I know that almost always when I have come in at maybe the last but one, you know, rehearsal, I'm like, Jesus,
we ready?
how are we gonna do this? And yet it always works out. But you know, part of it too is the fact that you're the ones who know every nuance. The audience
Yeah.
So when someone makes a mistake, you're the ones cringing at the back. Everybody else is like, yeah, fantastic. And I remember Prince of Egypt was one like that for me.
Yeah.
Because, as you know, I was intimately involved because I wrote that.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't write Prince of Egypt. Hey, please, I beg you.
That
I wrote the adaptation,
Adaptation.
of that. And that was the one that we invited the president for. So I'm sitting there. President Akufo-Addo is sitting here. And opening scene.
Yes.
Someone has forgotten
He
the line.
forgot.
He forgot his lines, and I
His
thought,
lines.
Lord, let the ground open up and soar. So this kid comes, there's the burning bush, and then he's walking around, and I'm sensing something's wrong here, And then all of a sudden he starts singing a song that was not part of the musical.
No, not at all.
But it fit him beautifully, and his voice was powerful. And as I'm sitting there, just make sure Akufo-Addo doesn't see me. I kept on doing this. Keep going. All the while, my heart is racing.
Yes.
And afterwards, he came to apologize to me, the young man. And I said, no need to.
did a
You
great
did what a
job.
great actor should do. You get there, you're only human.
Yeah.
You forget something. You know what the scene is supposed to convey.
Yes.
The feeling you want people to feel. So immediately a song comes to mind. You know that song will do it. Boom, you belted it out. And you didn't hold back at all. And I said, that's what you're supposed
And
to
in one
do.
of our musical, I think Paul Lee was playing the role of a fairy. And he's supposed to have said something.
Yeah.
Came on stage and was doing something. Could see he's forgotten.
Yeah.
I said, wait for me, I'm coming.
And then he went to the back.
That wasn't part of the whole thing, but
Yeah.
he went
Created
backstage.
Yes.
something.
He created something, went backstage, and then
Fantastic.
came and did exactly what he was
He was
supposed to
supposed
do.
to do. But he
And
created
yes, but he
that.
created something.
Clever.
And
Do you remember Joel did something
Yes.
similar?
Yeah, Joel did
Yes.
something.
Right on
Joel
stage.
did something, yeah.
It shows, though we've handed them something, they can themselves
These are actors
on
and
the
women.
spot create something to
Yeah.
fill
Yeah.
in certain
Yeah.
That's
spaces.
some of the skills they learn.
Yes.
And most of them come in shy, not wanting to open up. But by the time it's March, you see that they've learned so many skills.
Yes. Yeah.
Confidence,
Yeah.
thinking on the spot,
Yeah.
creating something,
Collaboration.
exactly.
Teamwork.
And it
all of
becomes a family. At the end of the day, when we are done with the musical, you realize that they still want to come for rehearsal.
Yes,
They
yes.
miss the
Meanwhile, they were complaining all the while. weren't they?
Yeah.
they miss the friendship, they miss the family,
Yeah.
and you can really feel that love has grown
Yeah.
throughout the
They've done something beautiful together. But it's all thanks to you guys.
Yeah.
It wouldn't happen without the teachers who devote time and energy and so much effort. You love your stuff, right? But there are a lot of people that we know who also love musicals and the arts and stuff. They don't want to spend time with kids. Right, so we thank you guys a lot, and we're going to go on a commercial break, and we're going to bring one of our collaborators. Pius had mentioned earlier that we collaborate with schools, we bring them in. Some of them come as choirs, and all sorts of different parts that we let them play. And as you've heard, as our listeners have heard, it brings so much joy to our community. Our children learn a lot. We don't want our children to live in a cocoon. But then we also collaborate with adults. And you've mentioned a choreographer, a beloved choreographer. So we're going to take a commercial break. Hang in there. We'll be right back. Thank you. So, as I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of collaborations with schools and then with individuals. And we have one individual with us today, Mrs. Vivian Boateng of VDTA. And Vivian has been with us, oh gosh, how many years now? I'll let her tell you that. But we want to hear her experience working with us. And first of all, Vivian, tell us what you do, so that somehow the viewers will get an idea of why we need you so much for the musicals.
All right, my name is Vivian Boateng, as you've mentioned, the CEO of Vivie's Dance and Theatre Academy, which is a performing arts space where we empower children and young people through the arts. And I'm a performing arts advocate. I've seen firsthand how the arts transforms lives. I've seen how it's empowered children and made them fully express themselves. And so I'm a big fan of that. I push that agenda. And that's why I am still with the GIS, because I align with the GIS vision. So we'll come to that. But yes, I'm a director. I am a choreographer, and I'm a storyteller. And so that's what I do in a
You're a
nutshell.
ballet dancer.
And I'm a ballet teacher,
you're
certified
embarrassing
ballet
me.
teacher with American Ballet Theatre. Yes, so I embody the arts. Like I said, I'm a storyteller. I love to see music, dance, and drama come alive on stage.
Would you call yourself a drama queen?
No.
As in, drama queen? Just that look that you gave. That was drama queen right there.
Well, so I love to see children and young people fully express themselves and own their space. And so that's why I'm part of the wonderful thing GIS is doing with their students. Yes.
And when we were talking earlier, you expressed some emotion. I want you to talk about that. What was it that you heard?
Well, I was sitting in the corner when I think you spoke about the collaboration we had with the Lawales students and how that, transcended or transformed the student, both the Lawales students and the GIS students, and how friendships, came out of that experience. I was there. I was the choreographer in Serafina, and I saw that magic, come alive. Yeah. I saw that confidence from the moment they stepped in, their demeanor, and when they finished, how that that changed. And just listening to that, and it took me back to that moment, and hearing you talk about the friendship that was built beyond that. I was like, this is what we live for. These are the moments. Right.
Because, as young people, they have no idea where life is going to take them.
Yes.
We watch lots of stories, movies and plays and whatnot about just that kind of happenstance. Somebody is lying on an operating table, and then the person who's about to operate on them, not knowing that 30 years ago, they paid the person's school fees, things like that. Yeah. And they come onto our screens because someone had experienced it in some way, shape, or form. So who knows the path that each child who has passed through your hands, is going to take, and how they will recall this time. So you're right, it is such a powerful thing. How many musicals have you done with us?
8.
Oh my word, Vivian, why do you keep coming back for this torture?
I think I came for my first musical was Joseph and His Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Oh, okay.
I came on board as a choreographer, but I didn't stay long to see the end of product of that, because I got pregnant. I was put on bed rest, and so I had to, leave. But in 2014 or 2015, Ida, that was my biggest comeback.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember Roverman calling me, and they said, well, GIS is coming up with this musical, and they need, a choreographer and someone to help them with the directing as well. So we think you are the best fit. So I came on board, met a wonderful team. I met Mr. Jakamani. I think this was my first time meeting him. And
we have to say who Jakamani is.
Yeah.
So I think we've thrown his name around, and people are like, who's this guy, right? So do you want to say who Jakamani is?
This is Vanderpuye.
Well, Mr. Jakamani was teaching in GIS in the literature department. His specialty was drama. So he was teaching drama to the sixth formers and, across the school. But Mr. Jakamani, apart from being a teacher, also we discovered that he could also teach drama, like acting, on stage. And so we just put him on stage one day, and he was amazing. And since then, he became one of our drama
Yes.
acting.
And that was in Ida.
And that was in Ida. So it was that collaboration that you're describing Ida as amazing. It was that collaboration that made it that amazing.
And he's
We can't forget it. In fact, it was the Aida that when Mrs. Nyatepeku went to the American
Embassy.
it was because they had come in to see that one, and they said, you know what, just
We'll
keep
do this.
doing those musicals. So
Okay.
that was Aida.
Yeah.
And that was Jackamani.
And he's one person who would always, after rehearsals, would come and say, I want us to discuss about this part of the music and the acting that goes with it.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Can we change it or should we maintain it? So he's always, I call him a perfectionist,
Yeah.
you know. And
Yes.
he is a September born just as me. So when we meet and we're discussing something that should be perfect, you can imagine.
Yeah.
And so he's that kind of person, and he fits into everything every role that you give him.
Yeah.
He does it and does it
Yeah.
well.
All to say we miss him.
And we work
Good.
really well
We miss you.
together.
Yes.
We work really well together. So back to why I keep coming.
Yes.
Yeah, it's because I think I mentioned this earlier. What GIS is doing with these young people aligns with my vision. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen the transformation. And it's not just a musical or another production. It's an avenue. It's a platform you've given the students, to tap into their inner selves and bring out something they didn't even know they had. And you keep doing that year after year. And so I continue to be part of that because I also see that transformation, not just in the students, but also in myself. And it's also, even I would say inspired what I do at Vivie's Dance and Theatre Academy, because it was only focused on dance. And then we introduced the theatre as well. So trust me, I keep coming back for that inspiration. I'm not just giving, but I'm also
You need the
being
shot.
fueled.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us how you got into this, because I do know a snippet of the fact that you didn't wake up, one morning and you just said, I want to be an arts person. You went through, your story is quite similar to several people's stories. So I want you to tell us.
I wanted to be a doctor. In school, anytime we're acting, my sister was a nurse, so I wear her nurse, uniform, and I looked so good in it. Everybody was like, "Yeah, you have to be a nurse or a doctor. You look so good in it." And I love taking care of, sick people. Like anytime somebody is not well, I'm there cleaning up. What do you need? So I thought that was my calling. And fast forward, I went to secondary school, studying science. And it got to a point I was really struggling, And a friend tapped me and said, Vivie, I think you should go to arts. I said, what are you saying? If I don't do arts, I don't know what else I'll do. If I don't do science, I want to be a doctor. What else? Arts, what am I doing with arts? But after secondary school, I had joined a theatre group and we were going from school to school performing.
And this was voluntary. Nobody forced you to go
Nobody
into it.
forced me. And I was also, participating in church choreography and drama and things like that. But I started remedials because I didn't do too well in my science course. In the core subjects I did were electives. So I started remedials, going for classes so I can rewrite those subjects. And it was worse. My mom called me and said, so how is it going? And I said,
It's not going.
I'm not seeing top. So what do you want to do? I said, I find my passion in the arts. I see that I'm always drawn into that. I'm always writing poems. She said, then go for it.
Kudos to Mommy
Yeah.
to give us publicity.
Redirected your
Yeah,
vision.
she said, then go for it. So immediately I went to see my director then. And I said, well, what do? I have 6 months to write remedials. She said, well, so let's change it. So take literature, government, tree. Okay, these are the electives that can help you up your grades and get you into the university. So quickly I swapped from chemistry, physics, elective maths to literature, government, tree. I had 6 months, studied, and then I passed. And that was what got me to the School of Performing Arts, University of Ghana. And today, that change is transforming so many lives. so many children and young people are being transformed through that. So that has been my journey. And one story about this girl who was in my class, my dance class, also, gave me that mandate that no, there are many more others who want to be in this space, who need to be in such a space to also discover what they can do. Sometimes it's not about even becoming a professional actor or dancer or singer, but that experience, just transforms them and they become, or it transcends into other things. So this young girl, finished after it was a recital. We finished the performance and she went to her mom and she said, "Mommy, I found something I'm good at," because she became the best. She was the shinest. The parents, teachers, everybody was like, "Wow, we didn't know you could do this." And because they academically they were struggling, like, what do we do? Now I think Miss Vanderpuye talked about it. Parents worried that grades and all that, so let's pull her out of all these activities so that she can focus on books. But sometimes it's these activities that really brings that shift.
One of let me cut in here. In one of our musicals, I told one of the characters that if you can, all these lines from the beginning of the script to the end, you can put it here and memorize everything on stage. And you go to the classroom and you don't perform. For me, he said, no.
Yeah.
Let me tell you one thing. If you go to the classroom and you are taught something and you think you can't recollect, put it into songs, your own compositions, and then you will get it.
Yeah.
The next 3 weeks, he came showing me a paper. Said, something? Look at my marks. I said, you always come with 20. How come 90? Says, I put all the chemistry formulas into songs. So I was there singing the song and writing. You see, a skill he learned not in the classroom, but extracurricular activity like the musical.
They're getting life skills and social skills out of this. And that, and those skills transcend into other areas. Because this child now, based on that performance, discovered that I can actually do something, and that new confidence and self-esteem. Now that mindset also changed that, I'm not bad after all, I'm skilled at something. And so it started showing up in her academics as well. And for the teens, they start learning time management. Because I love this so much, and mommy or daddy, is worried about it. Okay, let me quickly do my homework, let me quickly study so I can do this. So for the parents watching, they are learning time management, and I have seen that those are some of the challenges that I face during our rehearsal at GIS as well. Students, they are committed to other things and all that, and sometimes it's difficult to get all of them together. We have to go here and go there, but then we let them know. This is where time management comes in. You have to do it. You are committed to something. You need to see through it to the end. Again, teaching them life skills. You can't.
Just drop it.
Everyone is depending on you, even if you just have without one line. So then they go back, they work on, I need to, because I'm committed to A, B, C, D, how do I manage my time so I can fulfill it and bring and get the best result?
Which was your favorite musical and why?
This
Let's ask each one of you guys. I'm going to ask each one of you guys. Because I do know that each musical brings something. Right? But I'm sure when I asked the questions, one came up into your mind. So tell me that one thing. That one musical.
Can I say 4? I'll bring it out to 2.
Okay, 2. Let's see the 2.
One will be Ida, and the second is Sound of Music.
Which one? 1 or 2?
2. Sound of Music 2.
Okay.
This was when we had
the Ghanaian twist.
Adapted we gave it a Ghanaian twist, and I think it's the results was interesting.
Theophilia, what about you?
The first, and In the Heights, Aida.
That's one. I like the way Juliette just stopped her. Like,
Okay.
girl, hold on.
I'm going to go through all of them.
And then Sound of Music, and currently what we're about to put up.
Very much so. You know, In the Heights was unlike the other ones that we had done. It was a Spanish language and all that. So it's interesting when the day that we sit down, we dissect everyone and just say, gosh, this is how we have learned some stuff along the way. Julia, what about you?
I would say Ida. Ida, why did I love Ida? It was the change of costumes. We had students being in charge of costume. That's another thing that we do. So we have our cast and then we have our crew. We have student directors and also everybody who comes in learns something, goes away with a skill. So these students who were in charge of costumes had to help to, change costumes all the time. It was a heavy costume musical, heavy on costume. And so they had to learn how to, beat the time, teamwork, all of that. And it was amazing how it turned out and the way the children were behind the scenes doing all of that. So Ida for me was great. The other one that was great for me was Fame. Why? Because that's when I discovered that one of my sons, Hi Chief, has such a great voice. Great voice. I mean, he would sing and I would just melt.
and play the instrument as well.
And play the instrument as well. So I discovered that. Yeah. So those two.
Nice.
For me, in fact, In the Height, that's where there are 3 student names that I can mention: Stephen Bacha, Najidat, and Kara. The way Najidat would speak the English using the Spanish tone. And the way she would act. In fact, she made a line, Una Kukaracha. And I still, the way she said it, if I watched that, I looked at them and like, these are the students that I carried from Form 1. And look at them on stage. For me, all of them, but In the Height stands out. And In the Height is the first one I had with Dr. Shen. When Mrs. Edebigu was moving out, Dr. Shen was coming in. That was the first, my first assignment with Dr. Shen. So that one, it has become one of the musicals that I love so much. And the cast was heavy, but each and every one of them played the role so well. What I'm looking for is this one. That the writer will not even get to.
We're gonna get there.
I would say that Prince of Egypt also stood out. From the reason it stood out was the way Vivie created the was it the river? It was a river where
That
Moses
visual
was placed in the water and
the
all
baby
of
was
that.
moving along.
It was the way she just created. I was thinking, oh wow, that's amazing.
That was
I can't
amazing.
forget that.
Yeah.
That-
Now, I asked you guys, and I can't even answer the question myself. And you're so right. Every one of those
Yes.
had something that will make you forget, whether it's because your child was in it, or because you saw something in the children, like Serafina. I think I saw fire in our kids.
Yes.
They were fighting for freedom. So that song, Freedom is Coming Tomorrow, there was something there where our Ghanaian children were standing together with their South African counterparts, to believe in a day when there would be freedom. And Prince of Egypt brings its majesty. It was a loud musical, and the kids who acted in that, they were loud.
Yeah.
Right? Justin and his Ramesses,
Justin.
booming through, I will not let my people go. And this. And he added parts to it that was never there. He got off the stage, walked through the whole audience, So each one of those brings something with it. And I think our first Ghanaian adaptation must have been Merchant of Venice. Right? And just seeing how the children rose to that challenge as well.
Joel was amazing.
Oh, Joel.
He was Shylock.
Yes,
He played Shylock.
And there was a scene there.
I remember they used Jailer and mix it up with different tests altogether.
Even Jailer, he's there and he's that famous soliloquy. If you prick us, do we not bleed? And he did that like he was Shylock.
Yes.
And he got so angry he threw his walking stick.
Yes.
And yet he walked off, he limped off the stage with her. He was Shiloh.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it just shows you how much you guys work so hard to get the kids to embody who they are portraying.
Yeah.
Such that even without the prop,
Yes.
he still remembered that I'm not supposed to know how to walk.
Naturally.
Yeah. But you talked about this year's one. And so we're going to take a short break. Thank you so much, Vivie. You've always added passion and magic to everything that we do. May you live long.
So
So
you can be-
continue
you-
doing
you can be
musicals.
tortured the more.
Yes, yes, yes.
I love the torture.
Yes. It's a bit of a Stockholm syndrome that she has right now. So we'll go on a short commercial break and then we're going to talk about this year's musical. And we wonder if years from now we'll say that was our best musical. You never know.
Never know.
We'll be back shortly.
I am laying the foundations of an education experiment which will bring to the children who belong to it the great prizes of mutual confidence and respect, cutting across all superficial distinction of race, colour or creed. If the children bring this sort of homework back to their parents in the evening, then the contribution of this school to the great human cause of human understanding will be fulfilled indeed.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for hanging in there with us. We hope you are enjoying this as much as we are. We're getting to the end of this podcast episode, but we can't end without talking about what you can look forward to this year. In March, we are staging our anniversary, our 70th anniversary edition of the school musical. And there's going to be lots that we're going to share about our school, about who we are, about how far we have come. For those who don't know, GIS is 70 years old this academic year. We were founded in 1955, September 1st, 1955 was the first school day. So we love to say that we are older than the country of Ghana. And we were alive and kicking and functioning when Kwame Nkrumah became president of the Republic, and we're so super proud of that. So along with that comes a certain desire to really embody what that actually means. What does it mean to be there at independence? That's a really, really powerful thing. And so for this particular musical, we dug deep. We started talking about this a long while ago. What are we going to do? And I remember we said it had to be big. It had to be the biggest, right? And even as we were thinking that, I was terrified because I think these big things, and then when it's about to happen, I'm like, dear God, why did I do this? But knowing full well that the feeling afterwards will be such a huge sense of accomplishment. So you can't go bigger than the Lion King. And so Lion King was what we all, and Lion King just ticked so many boxes for us.
Yes, it was.
And then in the end, we had to put it aside because technically, the facilities would not really be able to accommodate it. But all things do work out for good, because we had to let that go to hang on to something else. And, there's that saying that, until you let go of something, you stop yourself from getting what God really wants for you. So we let go of Lion King, and Lion King may come well after our time, right? But after that was us saying, we got to have our own story. Right? It's the 70th anniversary. The bulk of Ghanaians have a very different view of GIS from what those of us inside know of the school. Some of the myths that surround GIS are difficult to shake. And so we thought that during the 70th anniversary, why don't we tell our story? Set the record straight. All right? This is what you think we are. Well, guess what? This is who we are. Right? So we started thinking about it, and as always, the team looked at my face like I was about to deliver some epic something. They're looking at me, I'm like, what are you looking at? They're like, aren't you going to write it? And I said, people, are you serious? Are you serious? But I must admit, I was super excited, right? And so I started thinking of the concept, really looking at how far we have come and embedding our story in Ghana. Right? Or if you'd like to look at it the other way, embedding Ghana's story in us. right? So either way, us and Ghana, we have come such a long way, right? And how could we tell this story? And I chose a concept that has us looking at it generationally and then embedding each generation in a very pivotal moment in Ghana's history to sort of drive things home, right? So embedding the story at the time of independence, at the time of the coups of 79, 1980, 81, that time period, the Rawlings regime, and then the present day. And choosing a family that has had somebody in the school at all those 3 times. And we do have families of 3 generations in our school, right? So it wasn't so far-fetched, right? And then crafting something around there. So I crafted the concept, I shared it with them. They were like, oh, are you going to start writing? And then I said, no, Mary, no. Because I knew that if I looked at their faces, they would make me write it, right? And because I was so super excited, it took a lot for me to pull myself away from it. It was important for me not to write it for a couple of reasons. I've done Prince of Egypt. I've been instrumental in all the musicals that we have done since I've been there. Even, at the very least, just come there and give you guys a rah, rah, rah kind of thing. But sometimes it's time to pull away and then recognize other talents as well. And so I spoke with the team and I told them, I don't think I should write this. We should bring another voice. And we should bring a voice that actually knows what it's like to be a GIS student. I didn't attend GIS. And so wouldn't it be wonderful if somebody who attended GIS would bring the story to life for us? So I told the team. And then Mrs. Vanderpuye, tell me what you said after that, because you made a suggestion.
Yes, so when you suggested that, I was, my mind was just running, going through the students that I had taught. And then I remembered that there was this student that I taught who had invited me. She was also writing musicals and writing her own music in the musical. And so she invited me for one of her performances. And I said, okay, I'll go. And so I went, and she had gathered some of these old students, and they were all doing one thing or the other, some helping with backstage acting, crew, and all of that. And I thought, okay, this is good material, and this is someone who we have taught. And so if we are doing something for our 70th, why not pull from our own? And so I suggested the lady to you, and you took it up.
Yeah.
I think I'll leave it.
Yeah, I remember sending her, I think it was a WhatsApp or I called.
Yeah.
I can't even remember now, or an email. So let's bring Vako in. So enter Vako. Right? Welcome, Vako, our beloved student, and see her proudly in her GIS school attire, right? We are so proud. I just got goosebumps saying that. That is beautiful. And it frames what we're about to say so well, right? And I reached out to Vako and I said, listen, I want to have a chat with you. It's about our school musical. Can you come in? Let's have a chat. So all the while I'm thinking, how do I pitch this to her? How do I pitch this to her? She's busy. She's a new mom, all of that stuff. And we want her to join us, to do this. So Vako came in and I did what must have been a good pitch because she's here with us, right? But for an alum and for someone totally in love with musicals, I don't think I needed to sell this to her that much. Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
It was a no-brainer right there. Yeah. But tell me how it felt just to hear that there was an opportunity to do something with your school. Tell us about that.
Well, for me, I think I would think of it as a full circle moment because I also probably didn't think I was going to end up in this area, writing musicals and all of that, And, I remember the moment when it all clicked to me somewhere in 2012. So I was
what were you doing before?
Well, I was a management person. I still am, but working in healthcare and I always had this at the side. I was in the drama club. So when you were talking about Mr. Jackamini. It brought back memories because at the time we had Mrs. Dove,
Mrs. Dove.
Miss Sarah. I don't think she's Miss Sarah anymore. I think
Sarah.
Dr. Dogbaji or,
Yes.
or so. Yes. So, but we had Mrs. Dove and Miss Sarah. So I remember those days, and I would always keep writing poetry, etc. on the side. It was just always a part of my life. But I remember driving in 2012, and I said, okay, so I do this. I have such a passion for all of this. What do I do with this? And it just clicked to me. I need to produce, right? I've been a consumer mostly of, the arts, musical theater, performing arts. And I think I can channel this into actually creating my own works. So, it was just an idea, but then coincidentally, someone approached me, someone from my fellowship, Christian fellowship, and she said, let's have coffee. She has some students that she's working with to do plays for in her church, and I said, okay, an idea had just come to me to also contribute more in this area, and so I'd love to actually add in a music element and make it a musical with what you're trying to do. And so then I began, actually she had the subject matter, so I just created, script, the music and everything for all of that. And that's where it all began for me. And when they saw my work, they were like, Vako, stop whatever else you're doing and just go into this full time. And I said, well, okay, that's something to consider. I'm not sure yet, but I just kept going on with it. In 2017, I decided I wanted to formalize things, register a business around it. And then that's when we staged our first musical, Born for This. So the previous stories I had written, I put them all together. Esther, David and Goliath, Ruth, from the stories from the Bible, I put it all together under the theme Born for This. And that was our first musical. 2018, decided to bring it home and write a musical based on Edinkra symbols, having a character that we had as a focus point, and how we could weave in all the Edinkra symbols and teach lessons along the way through the musical. I believe that's where I invited Mrs. Vanderpuye, and she actually had even suggested some of the students. I've heard Joel's name mentioned a lot, so he actually starred in that. And I've worked with him since then, and so it was, GIS has helped me so much throughout the time. We used to have rehearsals there, and I think I met Theophilia at the time because I think we needed to use one of the rooms and props and things like that. So it's just been a continuous journey with GIS and this new purpose that I was exploring. So I believe the call, that I received in terms of being able to contribute in this way, it was just, there's no way around this. This is something I have to do, And so it was just a full circle moment. It's like bridging my passion, everything I'd done to that point, and and being able to give back to GIS the way it's also supported me throughout discovering this purpose. Yeah.
And this really describes a lot of what we want our students to end up experiencing. You experience a really good school life, school experience. You don't need to know what you want to do at that time. Heck, there are lots of people my age who still don't know what they want to do with their lives, right? But there are seeds sown and opportunities created that allow you to explore. And then later on in life, when things start falling into place, you realize, okay, this is what I want to be doing, with my life. And that is great to hear from an alumna, right? And especially for the teachers as well. Sometimes we don't see what it is that we are planting, So when you said yes, oh my gosh, I can remember the way I called Juliette first. The way she yelled on the phone, I was like, oh, you're breaking my eardrum. She was so excited. And not that we completely doubted that you would say yes, but it was such an honor for us. And a really beautiful point to get to that, okay, we got Vako on board. And then we started the writing and the rewriting and the rewriting, right? So tell us about that process.
Yeah. So I remember when I met with you all, and I got your inputs in terms of what needed to be addressed. I took down notes, what lesson, what message do you want to send across, So got to doing my own research. I read the book. I thought it was in draft stage at the time, added to my own recollections of the school. Then there's the other element as well in terms of Ghana's history. So I had to always see how do I, pair that up. The school's history, Ghana's history. So again, talking with people, my mom, uncles, etc. What were things like in that time? Of course, you said before we started filming this that obviously I'm bridging a number of generations that are being spoken about in the play. So I needed to not only see things from my generational perspective, but the one before mine, or those before mine, those after me, Gen Z. That was a fun, interesting one. Yeah. So I just tried to use all my knowledge up to that point to do our first draft. Came back, got more feedback and inputs from you, and went to refine. And obviously we've spoken about the actual process in terms of bringing things to life, and students also being involved. So it was important that, and I think we all agreed that it's going to be something that continues to be fluid, because my perspective about Gen Z may not be exactly what it is. So obviously the students themselves reading it, experiencing it, will feed into what the final thing is. So that's something I'm really looking forward to see how things actually evolve.
For sure. And it's even, I think maybe it was after the first feedback session where we were saying, Vako, the kids don't talk like this anymore. You remember there was a few lines there, and even for us, like you said before, the children are going to change what we thought they would say, right? Because we hear them, but they say it, and they could be two completely different things. So what does Vako have to look forward to? What's gonna shock her? What is going to make her laugh? And what's gonna make her say, these people have mashed this thing up. I didn't even recognize my own play.
I've already told her about the songs.
Right.
Good songs. And some of the conversations have been converted to some rap, some test and other things. So if you are waiting to hear them speak, no, don't do that. And there are some dance, of course, stick close to me.
Yes, I hear the opening and the closing numbers.
So looking forward.
Vivie has unleashed her inner creative child.
Some of the songs were composed in the department. Some are existing songs that have been
pulled up, of course.
Even some of the scenes have been revised a little. Some of the texts, the dialogue. Has all, like you were saying, there was a word in there, the students saw it. They rehearsed with it, they came in, Miss Vanderpuye. We don't really say that anymore. The way it was said, so they, showed us which words to use there. So we've revised some of them in terms of text, music, and then
And I love the challenge for all the departments, because if it were any Broadway musical or whatever, a known text, there's something to go and look at, to compare it to even for the students. But I said this one,
anything goes.
You have to create it, you have to build it. We are all in this together. And so I love how they are all on board and trying to make it work. I said we have to make it work. It is ours. It's our story.
Yes, it's our story.
So that's a beautiful part.
Do you want to tell her what the title is now?
Oh, the title has
changed. The title has changed. Okay. So
the first surprise is I like that. So the title has changed. I like the first surprise.
So it started out.
The title. Well, talk about that. So
you mean the journey?
The journey. For the title.
So the title that you wrote with in mind was what was it?
Through the years.
Through the years. So that was a working title in my mind when I was writing the concept. That's what it is about, through the years.
Yeah.
Right. But then I was there one day when Julia writes to me and she's like, the title, no. And I'm like, Julia, what? She goes, it's not thinking. There's something. I was like, so what are you saying? And she goes, we need a new title. Right. And I said, okay. She goes, so dig into your archives. And the way she said it was like, I've got this big box there and I just pulled them out of. But I loved the challenge of trying to come up with a title. And I did come up with one that I thought fit a whole lot of things and we could use it in so many ways. So I sent it to her. Her initial reaction was that it's not bad. I can see where you're going with this. So I thought it had landed.
Yeah.
And then it must have been maybe 2 weeks afterwards, right? She goes, we don't like it. I said, what do you mean you don't like it? She goes, we've talked about it and it's not, And I said, why don't we brainstorm some more names? And you've seen where I was trying to go with these two names. Beat it, right? Beat it, come and sell to me something else. And so they did come with probably about six.
It was
About six
It
different ones.
started from 12.
six.
And so we talked it through, and we all landed on one. So, Vivie, what is the title? A big reveal.
Once Upon a School Bell.
Once Upon a School Bell. Yes. So we wanted something about school. So the bell there, the word school is there. And we wanted to situate the story within a school right away. You hear it, and it's within school. Through the years doesn't tell you that, and the other title I have, the Exora Promise, doesn't tell you that either. So this, what did you say? The school. Once Upon a School Bell. That sits right within a school, right? And the bell is a very symbolic item, right? It's very easy to replicate, put on stage somewhere, a big bell. You can design a dress that looks like a bell. There were so many marketable ways. And so we landed on Once Upon a School Bell. And Once Upon is also the beginning of every good story. Right? The beginning of every good story. Yeah. So Once Upon a School Bell, courtesy, I think it was Vivie's idea.
It was one of the selections.
Very surprising they said that was.
Yes, I remember. If you almost fell down when you entered the room and we said, well, we've chosen your one, right? Once Upon a School Bell is what we're going to be seeing. So I think our viewers can tell how excited we are.
Yeah.
Right? And you can't wish for anything better than when the people who create are they themselves excited about what they have created. So if you are watching this podcast, whether or not you've ever watched a musical, whether or not you've ever thought of writing one, being part of one, whether acting or behind the scenes, and you're intrigued, while it is a story about the growth of GIS and its place in Ghana, it's a story about every single person who has gone to school. Right? We have 3 generations in there. Some people who watch us, who are alive during Nkrumah's ascendancy, will identify with what happened there. And if, like me, you were coming of age during the Rawlings era, you will identify with that. And then if you are Gen Z and eager to hear the new words that us adults have learned from you, your story will be there as well. So with that, I want to say thank you to everybody who has joined me on this podcast. It has been an absolute pleasure talking about what we love and what we hope to do in impacting students on a day-to-day basis. All of us gathered here aren't the kind that teach the subjects that most kids and their families will think they should go into. But what we teach is meaningful. What we teach is impactful. And so we should keep doing it. So I want to thank you on behalf of every single parent, every single child who has passed through your hands. And we hope that the arts in other parts of our country, other parts of the world, will learn something from our little experience, where this little school, but really a big school, right? GIS is a big school in a small country of Ghana, right? Within the continent of Africa. We don't really get enough airtime with the arts in Africa. But if you want to know what Africa is up to, One of my taglines at the bottom of my email is "Out of Africa, always something new." Come and watch Once Upon a School Bell, staged by Ghana International School in collaboration with other school partners, and come and be transformed. We thank you so much for joining us, and with this, I will say adieu. Take care.